All right, guys. Oops. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to share my screen. One thing I do need to ask of you is if you will mute yourself so that we don't have the feedback. I would greatly appreciate it. So what we're going to be doing is Google Classroom, and I'm going to walk you through this step by step. And so if you have any questions, please throw them into the chat feature. Amanda is on with me, and so she's going to try to help answer questions for you. And so just throw those in there, and we can come back to you guys here in just a second. I feel like I want to tell everybody, welcome, breathe. We got this. We're going to survive. So, all right, let me go ahead.
Hit record.
Oh, yeah, I got to hit record. All right, here we go. So again, welcome to our afternoon session of Google Classroom. I'm going to go ahead and present my entire screen. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure what we were doing. Okay, so let's say that you've just logged into your computer. You're just going to Google at this point because you have no idea where to head to get into Google Classroom. So I'm just going to start on Google's landing page right now. There are two ways that you can get to Google Classroom from the teacher perspective. And so in your Omnibox up here at the top, not in Google search, down here underneath this guy who looks like, I guess, Luigi, hand washing, that kind of business. But up here at the top, one way to get there is to type in classroom.google.com. So that's one way, classroom.google.com. The other way is over here in the upper right hand corner of your screen where the Google apps are. We've been calling this the waffle in all of our trainings this year. So you can click on the waffle and then you will find that Google Classroom feature in there as well. So I want everybody to open up a new tab. Please do not close the Meet tab that you can hear me on right now, but hit the plus button or a new tab right next to it so that you can walk through and create along with me. Get to classroom.google.com in the easiest way that you know how. Alrighty. Elizabeth, you can't see my face at all, or you can't see my screen.
She might have somebody pinned.
Okay, Elizabeth, if you can't see me, there's a possibility that you have somebody pinned. So if you can see this little pin right here, I don't know, if you look up in this upper right hand corner, you might be able to tell who you have hit the pin on, and you can just click that. So like if I click right here, it'll pin your face, but then I can just unpin you. Okay, so now that, please pardon all of the classrooms that I have. Maybe yours looks like this one, maybe it does not if you're brand new to this, but either way, we're going to create a brand new classroom and walk you through it all the way in. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, close to your waffle, you will see a plus sign, you'll see the waffle, and you will see either the initials, your first initial, or you'll see a picture if you've updated a picture. But make sure, folks, that you are logged in as your first.last at ecisd.school. We have received many calls and emails that either our students can't get in, our students can't find the code, and here is where some of the problem lies. Because you're working from home, you're most likely logged in into your personal Gmail account. So you'll have to click there and sign out of all of your accounts before you can sign back in and sign in with your Gmail account. So remember that when you do sign in, it's first name dot last name at ecisd.school. Once you make sure that you are signed in, then go ahead and click on the plus button to create or join a class. So in this instance, we are going to create a class. When you create your class, the majority of the information, I think that's most important right now, is just to do that class name. I'm going to go ahead and put remote learning as my title for this classroom. In all honesty, I don't have to worry about section. If you wanted to put subject, you're more than welcome to. You can put your living room, your kitchen room, your dining room at this point for room. It doesn't really matter with that. And then you'll click create. So I'm going to give you maybe a few seconds to go ahead and click the plus button, create your class, and then name your class and click create for me. Once you have done that, if you'll say done in the chat feature, that way I can move on. Awesome job, guys. So we have about, I'm going to shoot for about 20 people since there are multiple of us logged in. So make sure when you create, you click or put done for me in the chat feature. All right, maybe about 8 more people. Again, I'm just going to walk you through that process. Those of you that have done it, just sit tight. Those of you that might have joined just a little bit late, we are creating our classroom. We went to classroom.google.com. We ensured that we were signed in with our ecisd.school account. We clicked the plus button to create a class. And then we titled that class with remote learning or whatever you wanted to call it. And then you clicked create. So again, once you're finished, just click, type in done in the chat box so that I can move on. Yes, Nancy. The students will log in with their ID number at ecisd.school. Of course, our pre-K, well, let's call it kinder through 4th grade, will use their ID number as their password. So username is ID number at ecisd.school, and their password is also their ID number. For our 5th through 12th graders, they had the option to change their password at the beginning of the year. So it could be either their birth date, if they didn't change it, or who knows what they thought of as their password. If students do not remember their password, please do not have parents call our department. Y'all, there are 4 of us, and we're trying to keep up with our teachers and our leadership right now. So please have your parents respond to you and say, here's my student's name, here's their ID number, and then you as the teacher send us an email of all of the students you need to reset passwords for. And if we are allowed within the ECISD internet, then we can change that for you. Alrighty, friends. It looks like we've got a lot of people ready to go, so I'm going to move on. Now, this is your landing page, your stream page. So think of it as your Facebook page. It's that stream where you can post something and everything will be seen from here. I like this place to use as announcements for your students, but let me give you options with this stream page. I am more the type of person that likes to have my announcements on here only. I don't necessarily like for my students to be able to post things here because then it doesn't turn into this streamlined thing. It turns into this very busy page. So if you as the teacher want to be the only person that you are that you're posting to, we can change that setting within the gear wheel over here in the upper right hand corner. So it will give class details. So if you want to change up your class, you can even do that from here. But under the general tab, you see stream. And if you do the caret to click down, you can see you have 3 options here. So only teachers can post or comment. I know the question's going to come up. Well, what if a kid has a question? That's great. We have private messaging features that we can do as well throughout Classroom. So I'll get with those. And here's another thing to think about on this stream. Do you want it to be where only the conversation, the announcements that you're having with your students, do you want that on the stream? Or do you want, when you post an assignment, do you want that to be seen on the stream too? So if you want to change that up, there's Classwork on the stream. So you can do as show attachments and details. So it can be very detailed. You can show a condensed notification, or you can hide notifications. So students automatically have to go to that assignment tab. So I'm going to click hide notifications because that's how I like to roll. And then you'll click save. If you want more information on changing those general settings, please email your tech specialist, and we'll work with you one-on-one. So now I can even post here, hey, welcome to our first day of online learning. Or you could, no, don't. I was going to say, or you could call it Corona Academy, but that might not be appropriate. So for this, I could, if this isn't my first rodeo with Google Classroom, I could send this same announcement to any of the classrooms I currently have, which is a pretty cool feature. I can also click on all my students. And if I had other students in this class with me, then I could click on the student name. So if I wanted to just send this message to Amanda, I could just click on Amanda's name, or I can click on all students and get it out there. Oh yeah, Amanda can play around as a student for me. So she's gonna log in. She's gonna open up another browser and log in as a student. And so how are my students supposed to get the code, right? On your ribbon up here at the top, you see the class code is there. And so if you were doing an online version of this, just like we're doing with you today, I could click this button and even display the class code really big so that my students could see it. Just tell your students that these are all lowercase letters. There are not any uppercase letters in the code. They're all lowercase, especially when you get into your L's and I's, and I know that can get confusing. So this would be my class code that Amanda is going to join.
Do you want to show them how to just add me though?
Oh, yes. So we can do that online. So Amanda can do it that way. Or if I just kind of wanted to cut down the headache and I didn't have, if I wasn't a teacher at Permian High School where who knows how many hundreds of students I had, because you have all the time in the world for that, I'm sure, I could go to the People tab and, yeah, let me cancel this and I'll show you. So I could go to the People tab and I could click on the plus button. Okay, let me differentiate. There's teachers and there's students. Please, please, please do not add students on the teacher side of things, okay? Because then they're privy to all of the information, all the private messaging and all that. So please don't do that. If you'd like to add other teachers, by all means, click the plus button and then you could add another co-teacher and invite them, which is fantastic. But please, please, please don't invite your students as teachers. You will go under students and click the plus button, and then you can start typing their name or their ID number. So in this instance, I'm going to type Amanda's name, but if I were to use a student, let me just show you. If I were to add a student because their email, I'm going to do a random one so we don't like HIPAA or whatever, but I would just start entering their ID number and their emails would pop up. And then of course I would just click on that person and invite. So there's two ways. But again, once they're invited, the parents still have to log out of their personal Gmail accounts so the students can log in to Classroom. All right, I'm going to come back to our stream and let me talk about this announcement one more time. Okay, so welcome to our online learning. Now, let's say today's Friday. I'm going to spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday prepping because I know how amazing you guys are and you want to be ready for your kids come Monday morning. If I'm not ready to post this announcement right this second, I can click this little caret next to there and I can actually schedule this to go out first thing Monday morning at 8 a.m. and I can schedule it that way, which is kind of super fancy. I can also just save it as a draft. Maybe you're getting started now, but you're not finished with the class when we're over at 2, I think. So you can always save this draft and come back to it. What that'll look like, it says saved announcements up here, and it's kind of grayed out. So you would just click on there, click on anywhere on that little post, well, except for the trash can, but click anywhere on that post, and then you can continue the work. And then you would just click post. I'm going to post this immediately, and then there we go. We can see the announcements. Any questions about the stream feature so far? Awesome, Maria. Thanks for just tuning in. Francis, don't spread that rumor. All right. If this matters to you or not, if you want to change this theme right here, you are more than welcome to select a theme, and they have some backgrounds that you can change it to, or you could upload a photo if you wanted to. So those are those extra features there. Rodrigo says, if I add a teacher, can we separate groups of students? If you're doing one classroom and you just add all of the students, they're going to all be in one location. So if that's the case, Rodrigo, what you might want to do, I'm going to come back to my classes really quick, is you might want to have a remote learning first period, a remote learning second period, a remote learning third period. You could do it that way. That could be an option. Or I think I want to tell you this, but I think it might be a little too much where we make topics for each of the class periods, but I feel like that could get kind of seedy, shady, too much information as well. So
you can be co-teachers on each other's.
Yeah, you can be co-teachers on each other's as well. So I might just stay away from, like if I want my separate groups of students, then I would probably do 2 different classrooms for that. So Francis, creating a separate class for each subject we teach for self-contained teachers, that is a possibility, but also as well, so on that side of things, that would be up to you. Let me come back to my classes. So I could have a Skiles math, a Skiles reading, a Skiles writing. I could do it that way. It depends on how much clicking you want to do. But note that in the Classwork tab, we can create topics. So we could have math, we could have ELAR, we could have writing, we could have science. So we can organize it in a better fashion as well. So it just depends on how much clicking you would like to do. I see with your organization style, creating topics in one classroom might be beneficial. Awesome, Maria. Okay, I hope I can give you some ideas on the librarian piece then. Okay, friends, so I don't think there's any more questions for the stream. If there are, or any general questions, please post them, and Amanda and I'll keep an eye on it. So I'm going to head to the Classwork tab now. So the Classwork tab is the place where you're going to actually assign your work. Clearly you can see it says assign your classwork here, create assignments and questions, use topics to organize, and then order the work the way you would want them to see it. So if you click create, you see your options. So assignment is just that. It's going to create a graded version. So if you just want them to check out an online resource, I might put that under a material instead of an assignment so it doesn't attach a grade. I can do a quiz assignment, and what happens is Google Forms will be introduced then, so your students could take a quiz through Google Forms. You can post a question, just like a random question. Maybe you're teaching during the day, you know, and I don't know, a checking for understanding question pops up, and so you can throw that into the Classwork stream. Material, like I said, is just for maybe resources for students to go to. Reusing a post. So if I spoke to a typing teacher yesterday, Miss Cornish, and she said she was going to do, here's lesson 1, and then for Monday, and then she was going to have a lesson 2 for Tuesday, lesson 3, etc. Well, instead of going and creating new assignments and retyping all of that information, I suggested to her to reuse a post, so it would copy the information and she would just have to change a few things. So I'll show you that. And then of course the topic is where we're going to get our organizational features. So let's start with the topic so we know what that looks like. So I want everybody to create a topic, and let's go ahead and title it Monday. What is next week? March 23rd through the 27th, I believe. Right, because we're going to take this a week at a time. And so any work that I put under here is going to be for next week. Okay, that's one way. If I clicked create and I did topic, I could call it math. I could create another one with science. I'm going to add just a few here so I can show you something cool in a second. ELAR, SLAR, whichever one you choose. So you can make this as in-depth or as simple as you want it, okay? I am not saying that you have to do topics. I'm just saying my OCD brain would go insane if I listed an assignment after assignment and I could never find anything. So that's me. You do you, okay? So as you see, when I created these topics, it also gave me an outline, I guess you could say, over here on the left-hand side, which is helpful as well. But what if I don't want this in the order that it is? So I have a few options. I want my March 23rd through the 27th on the top. So I'm going to click and hold and drag this puppy up to the top. So that's one way, right? Another way is I can click on the 3 hot dogs, the 3 little stacked circles over here on the right-hand side, and I can say move up or down if I wanted to. So those are 2 ways that you can move things once you've posted them to your classroom. All right, now let's go in and create an assignment. So we're going to create assignment. All right, let's just call this how are you? You can write practice, whatever you want to do. So my title for my students is how are you? I can put instructions, respond back to me using words, pictures, or videos of how you are doing. Okay, simple instructions, okay? If I wanted to add a document that I already had in my Google Drive, what if I had a Google Doc that said, how are you? I could add that to my Google Drive. What if I wanted to link my Flipgrid account or my Seesaw account to this so they could record those features? Fantastic, I could do that. What if I wanted to add a file, basically a PDF version of something from my computer? Wonderful, you can click File. Or in this instance, I mean, I could add a YouTube, but I'm asking my students how they are, not how somebody else on YouTube is. But I could add a YouTube video for them if I wanted to. I could also have the option to create. So what if they're using words, I could create a Google Doc. So you see it's automatically creating for me. It's automatically opening for me, which is really super cool. And then I could do untitled assignment. I could say, how are you? Right? And then you could, again, I'm just going to use this. I hear somebody, does somebody have a comment? It's okay, don't shy away. All right. So I could create this document. So yeah, that was simple, right? I'm going to come back to my classroom. You see that it is in here. Now here's the key point. Don't rush to add something or create something and hurry up and click assign. Okay, don't do that. The reason being is because when you add something or create something, well, if you add something from your Google Drive or you create a doc, a slide, a sheet, a form, something like that, you get 3 options, okay? Students can view the file. So this right now, if I were to send this out to class, so remember I added Amanda as my student, what she would be able to see is she would just be able to view it. She wouldn't be able to edit it. She'd have to make her own copy. Heaven forbid, if 2nd grade teachers are using Google Classroom, that might be a little much. So think about that. Students are just going to be able to preview that file. The next option is students can edit that file. All right, we talked about having 100+ students in my high school, let's go World Geo class, okay? Can you imagine 100 high school World Geo people fighting over one document? You know, as soon as that happened, as soon as somebody deleted somebody else's work, well, I can't say that on this recorded video, but you know what would happen. So here are my options. Here's the best thing I think for you is to click on make a copy for each student. So Amanda gets hers, Chris gets his, Lauren, everybody, Jessica, they all get their own document. There's no fighting, there's no hissy fits, and we can move on with the world, okay? So I'm going to click that. The next part of it lies over here on the right-hand side. Again, who is this for? This is it for my remote learning class? Is it for all of my classes? Okay. Is it for Algebra 1 or Algebra 1st period, Algebra 2nd period, Algebra 5th period? You know, if you have different classrooms. Is it for all of my students? Maybe Amanda doesn't need this same assignment that Chris needs. Maybe I need to differentiate for them. So instead of clicking on all students, I'm just going to say Amanda gets this assignment and I'm going to create something different for Chris and so to do, because maybe they're on a different level, right? So I'm still coming close to hitting their accommodations, so to speak. Okay, so that's the all students feature. Points. Remember, this was an assignment, so there's going to be points attached to this assignment. So talking about Miss Cornish yesterday with her typing class, the assignments were going to be worth 20 points. So as long as they did all 5 assignments, then they would get 100 for that week. So I can do ungraded, or I can do 20 points if I wanted to. Or I could do any number of points that I want to put in here. Okay, due date. I feel like we're going to have to be pretty tough on our due dates just to promote that, hey, you have this assignment, you have to get it done, and I need you to get it done this week, because guess what? Next week you'll have something else to do. So the due dates, once you click here, you have to, it's kind of like a double click kind of thing. So I'm going to say this is going to be due on the 27th. If I wanted to add a time feature, I could click on a time. If I don't want that time feature, then it's not going to include it. So just be aware that I would include due dates at this point in time. The next thing is topic. So if I click on the caret, of course I have all of these topics down here that I could choose from. If I didn't see a topic that, or if I haven't added a topic, I could even create a new one saying social emotional learning. I think they're calling it SEL right now, social emotional learning. So I could do that, but I'm going to show you a trick. I'm going to forget to click a topic. Rubric and originality reports are something like super new, especially originality reports. So my writing teachers, you know, if you could raise your hand right now, I'm sure you would. There is a rubric feature for my writing teachers that you can create a rubric or you can reuse one. So whatever star, not that, or please don't shoot me for this, but you know, whatever star writing rubric students have to follow, you could even import that into Sheets, and your students could still be held accountable for that writing rubric piece. I know TELPUS has been either extended or put off indefinitely. I can't remember at this point, but even for our TELPUS pieces, if you're having students still writing for that, you could import a rubric for it. The originality report feature, I'm going to click on this Learn More so you can see it. But what it is so it's a plagiarism piece where it goes and looks at other students' work. So it compares student to student, and it also compares out to web pages and books so that you can limit that plagiarism thing. So I think for college, you know, we all use Turnitin or something like that. So Google has stepped up their game. Kudos to Google for this. All right, so after that, I can either assign, or again, I can click this caret and I can schedule it to start on Monday if I wanted. I'm just going to click assign right now. It might take a second, just so you know, especially with 34,000 students logging in. I can only imagine what our internet for Odessa is going to do on Monday. All right. So we see that it has posted, but oh no, I was in such a hurry, I forgot to put it in the topic. Again, there's some things I can do. I can click and drag it to where I wanted it, or I can click the 3 hot dogs over here. No, I can't, not on this one, I'm sorry. But I can still click and move it so that I can move it up or down where I wanted it. Let me talk about 2 other things, and then I'm going to let you create something and check out the chat feature to see if anybody has any questions. So Google Calendar, it's linked to Google Calendar. And what this happens, or what happens here, is that students can now see that I have assignments due on this calendar. Let me go to next week. So I have these assignments that are due next week, which is really cool. So it automatically links them to there. Pretty fancy. The other thing that is available is the Class Drive feature, the Class Drive folder feature. So let me come to my drive really quick. So in my drive, since you created a classroom, it automatically creates a classroom folder within your drive. And then all of your classes, either internet is slow or I just have too many, but here we go. So, I already forgot what I called it, remote learning. So here's my remote learning folder. And then here are the assignments that I'm going to have in there. So that's kind of a cool feature. So I want you to create an assignment quickly. I don't care if it's just a bunch of gibberish. Quickly create an assignment. Give me a thumbs up when you're done. Throw in some questions, or if you'd like to unmute your device and have a little talk with us real quick, go for it.
Caitlin, I have assignments that we've already entered in there, but the problem is that it was a PDF, and so the kids can't write on it. Is there a way to fix that where it's not a PDF and they could like color the map or do anything? Do you have any idea how to fix that?
The only way that I know, and maybe Amanda or Chris, since they're in here listening as well, maybe they can offer their 2 cents. But at this point, you would have to have a PDF converter where it converted it from a PDF to an editable document. I personally pay for Adobe Editor, or what is it, Creative Cloud, I think I pay for personally, but no.
Well, I tried, hang on just a second, let me go to something here. I tried to figure it out. I went to, see if I can find where I went to. Oh, I went to PDF Escape and I downloaded, hold on a minute, I lost you. I lost us.
I'm going to let you.
I went to PDF Escape.
Okay.
And when I went to that, I downloaded the document in there. But when I downloaded it in there, the only thing I could find out of that I thought I could use was a highlight deal. So I thought, well, maybe I could draw a box around it. But it just highlighted everything in the box.
I see. I am not familiar with PDF Escape. If anybody else has an idea, this is a community, so please offer your 2 cents as well. I'm so sorry, I can't offer more information about that one.
Okay.
Rob,
I'm still learning quite a bit.
Oh, girl, I think we all are. I think we all.
I've only done just the quizzes. I've not done an assignment where you put an assignment in and then you have to grade it. I've not done that part yet.
I see. No, it's okay. We're gonna learn this together and we're gonna survive. So don't fret right now, okay? Robert, I see that Amanda responded to you about creating. So you've only been able to create them outside of a particular class, and that is true. So you can go to a Google Doc and create that first, and then add it to your classroom. But you also do have that option of, create. Google Classroom has made some changes like here recently, and so this create feature, as long as it's one of the 5 G Suite applications, you can click those and it will create inside Google Classroom as well. Alrighty, can I upload PowerPoint? So Nancy, you should be able to upload PowerPoints as well. So if you downloaded them, I would probably download them as a PDF version. Maybe somebody else wants to pipe in, but I would download them as a PDF and then upload them into, as an attachment, or, using add. I would do it that way. Or when you're in your Drive, you can, okay, so I'm in Google Drive now. So when I do Google Drive, I can do new and I can upload, and there, I just did a PowerPoint from something not too long ago, but I can convert a PowerPoint into Google Slide. so that way it becomes interactive as well. And I know you're my person, so we can have another conversation about that, Nancy, if I didn't fully answer your question. Sweet Brandy, thank you. Use the snipping tool. Now they can't click the links. Okay, so Billy, when you're using, so if you created a document that you wanted to have clickable links, you would have to either do Google Docs or download it as a PDF. No.
Maybe depending on the ship, but
I'm going to let Amanda turn on her microphone, and I'll let her jump in on this one, Billy.
Can you hear me? Okay. So when you take that, when you use the snipping tool, it's only going to take a picture of whatever you're snipping. It's not going to make it where the links are clickable or anything like that. What you could possibly do is take a picture of it, and then you yourself, instead of taking a picture with the snip tool, copy the link, select it, copy it. You could paste it into the assignment, so then it is clickable. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Oops. Thank you. Alrighty. Amen, Marilu. Y'all, if you Google, can you hear me?
I don't think so. Did you mute your mic? Or did I do something?
I unmuted it. Can y'all hear me? Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So Marilu does have a point. Google Classroom is a Google thing, and so if you are utilizing the G Suite platform, slides, sheets, docs, forms, they just talk to each other a lot better than the Microsoft, like uploading a Microsoft thing into here. We are asking you as a district to not only be teachers, but now be online teachers. And so I feel like we are asking you guys to do a lot right now. And I don't want you to, you're already learning something new. Now we're saying, hey, use Seesaw or Classroom. So that might be something new to you. So I'm going to say, if you're using Microsoft, keep using Microsoft. And when you get ready, then you can transition and start learning the Google side of things. I joked earlier on a phone call that you're forced to learn this now. And so when we get started in August and September of 2020, we're going to kind of come back and say, remember how you were forced to do that? Well, now you're going to learn something new. So yes, we would love for you to utilize the G Suite platform because it does talk better. But if you are overwhelmed, breathe and do what you can at this point in time. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so suggestions on copying the district information from the lesson plan. So let me open, I don't know if this is the same thing that you guys have. I don't know if this is the same-ish document that you have. So let's just hope and pray. I don't know that it's there. So here's a kindergarten one. Is this something quite possibly that you, okay, cool. Thank you for that. Okay, so what I could do is it's in PDF form right now. So I could open with Google Docs. Okay, that's one way. Or with this Kinder assignment, I could, I right-clicked, so I had some more options come up here. And I could say share or, no, scratch that. There should be a place where you can add it to your drive. I've already added this to my drive, but if there's a place around the move to, add to star, rename, there should be a place within this section to add it to your drive. Once you did that, let me come back to my classroom now. I'm going to click on the add from Google Drive. Now this is just the tricky part of being able to find it.
It was in recent.
It was in recent. Let me not go to the recent. What is that called though? The district, what is it? School closure assignment boards. That's the other thing. You're gonna have to remember all these words. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I would double click here. Here's week 1 resources. I'm gonna be elementary. Here is 3rd grade. So that way I can assign it. It's already in PDF format. Again, I could have them view the file, edit the file, or make a copy for each student. With this, I mean, I know this isn't for students. This is for you guys, I believe. But I would leave this as students can view file so they are not editing and fixing their own lesson plans. So I could even call this week 1, what lessons, I guess. Please click below. Blah, blah, blah. So whatever you had to do. And then, of course, over here on the right-hand side, make sure that you are clicking the correct classrooms, the students who it is for. Remember that the classroom, I forgot what I was going to say there. Scratch that, it'll come back to me. You can see that on this PDF, I do have a note. So it says you can only attach files you have permission to share. So in order to share, I would have to make my own copy of this. So unfortunately, that has to happen within the drive. So I'm going to get that off of there. So I would have to click on this, make a copy, and then that copy will be added to my drive. So I missed the note. Okay, let me try again. Okay, so now I'll be able to assign it. So that was kind of a wonky piece with it, and I can go back over that either on a one-on-one basis, because we have about 13 minutes before I need to end this so we can get ready for our next thing. Oh, my bad, I did it too fast, right? So now I need to click and drag it to whatever area I want it. Okay, other questions? We were told we needed to upload videos of us teaching. Where would we place these? Okay, so Brandy, you could let's say I'm just gonna do create. Let me check on material. So I'm gonna just add a material here, and from my Google Drive. So a screen recording tool, I'm currently using it right now because I'm paranoid, is Screencastify. I've personally paid, not the district, I've personally paid for the extended feature of my of Screencastify, but there's Loom out there, so I could even record Loom, a video on Loom. And what happens is you see my face down here on our screen. This is from Screencastify, not Google Meet. So I could have my face here talking to my students. Screencastify, you can see up here is recording at this time. And once I've recorded my lesson, I would come to my drive. There's a Screencastify video here, and then I could double click the video that I recorded, and so my students would be able to see the recorded lesson with this. Thank you. And Amanda did add our Google site that we've created for the parents and the parents and teachers to help with this remote learning business. So, but again, we are here for you. We're here for you when you need some help. Hazel, so if the button is, students can change the assignments. We thought they meant they could edit and write on. Not in this case. With a PDF, Billy, they could, I'm sorry, Hazel, they cannot, with the PDF, they wouldn't be able to edit the PDF. But if you did a Google Doc and you clicked edit, whatever's on that Google Doc they could change. So I would either leave it as the view only version or make every student a copy. Okay, so Francis's question. So I don't apologize for these questions at all. It is my understanding that what you were provided with yesterday, so i.e. this business right here, that is for your eyes only. It's not for the parents. Clarify with your curriculum people to make for certain. But if that is the case, then yes, you would just create a student version of this. Yes, that is correct. Shabir, yes. So can I access the finished assignments? You can. And what would happen? Let me exit out of this. So as your students submit an assignment, Amanda, would you mind going and just doing some how are you with gibberish on it so I could show them? Shabir, give me just a second. We're gonna have Amanda go on the back end and do the assignment and submit it, and I'll show you what it looks like from that end in a moment. Yes, Hazel, if you make a copy for every student, then they can edit that instead of having, I don't know what grade you teach or anything, but instead of having, let's just go elementary, right? Instead of having 20 kids on one document, you want them to be able to edit their copy so you can see what they know. All right, so I'm going to come in. I hear Amanda typing away. So Shabir, what happens when you come back to check your student work on here? Notice I'm still in the classwork tab. Here's that assignment. So I'm going to click on that assignment. And then underneath is view assignment. So here's where you have two options. You can still see your instructions, what your students were supposed to do, and then you can see student work. So you see these little thumbnails, yeah, of every student. So they'll kind of be lined up along here. So this is where my high school folks, my middle school folks, I know you do have at least 100 kiddos, I'm sure. So think about this. Am I going to want to sit right here on this one classroom and see 100 different kids' assignments? Or does my brain need to have first period, third period, blah, blah, blah period with 15 to 20 kiddos? So just think about that, okay? So on the left-hand side, I see all my students. I see Amanda's name is here. On the right-hand side, I see it is assigned, but what's the deal with Amanda? She hasn't turned it in yet. You know, Amanda, have you not checked your blah, blah, blah? Have you not had parent contact? You know, something like that. So that kind of gives you a rundown of your students. So I could click on her work and, oh, here she goes. Like she actually is working. So she just hasn't submitted it yet. And what's really cool, if you're using G Suite, the Google Docs slides, I can actually see in real time what Amanda is doing. And so I can grade from here. I can even add a private comment to Amanda saying, nice job. I can't even spell. Thank you for keeping clean. So I can even have that conversation and we can have that conversation back and forth. So again, we're protecting the student commenting feature. So remember at the very beginning when I said on that stream, yeah, students wouldn't be able to ask questions. Well, here's the private commenting feature where we can still have that feedback with our students, okay? What if Amanda is done? Okay, she did the assignment like she said. I could come over here to grade on the right-hand side.
Do you want me to jump in and show them what a student view looks like real quick?
Yes, Amanda's going to jump in and show you what the student view looks like. So she'll share her screen. So I'm going to go ahead and grade this. And then I'm going to, okay, I graded it. I have my comment. Okay, I'm going to return it to my student. Okay. Here, Amanda's sharing her screen now. So, okay. let me go back to, okay, go ahead.
You see my screen, we're good?
Yeah.
All right, so as a student, I came in, I logged in, here's my screen. I came to Classwork, here's my assignment. She assigned it to me, it's right down here. I click on my Google Doc, and this is where I was adding stuff in. Of course, it's telling me I'm on here multiple places to have it open another tab. But if we were actually on it at the same time, that's when she could see me working. So like up here in the top corner, I can see her icon showing that she's getting to see my work right now. And so if you happen to be on at the same time as your student is actually working, it would pop up and you could see where they're at and where they're working as well. And she's going in right now, she's adding a comment, it's popping up so I can see it there. The private comment that she sent me, so if I hit view assignment, the private comment shows up right here. I can add class comments. Oh no, she disabled that.
Yes.
Earlier when she was showing you how to do that. So the class comments are disabled, but I can add private comments and talk to her in the private comments. And she'll have it where it's popping up right there. I can see when she said it. I can come up here and there's my doc. And so if I needed to add anything else, like if I wanted to add a video or anything else that I was working on, a slide, any of those things, I can pull it up right here. If the students are working on an iPad or a phone, they can actually use the camera option and take pictures of what's going on and things like that. And then, so right now she went ahead, right here, she says it's graded and I can see my grade right here. I can, if I need to do anything, change anything.
Wait, I can only see your doc. I'm sorry, I can only see your doc.
It's not showing on my screen.
It's not showing the classroom.
Let me select how I'm sharing it.
See, we're learning a.
Oh, okay, that's it. I shared the wrong screen. What happens when you have it open?
We're learning right along with you, we promise.
All right, so there was my doc, and so all of that in the assignment. Let me go back for a second since I jumped around. So when you're first in the classroom, here's the stream. Since I said this and you couldn't see what I was actually talking about. Here's the stream. Here's the Classwork tab. I come in here, and when I hit View Assignment down here at the bottom, this is where I can see the private comments that my teacher has left me, and this is where I can see or any comments I've made back. She has class comments turned off. Otherwise, it would be right here where.
Turn on your. They can't hear you.
What?
She said they can't hear you.
No, it says it's on. We could do that. Okay. Technical difficulties. Okay, so here's the private comment area. If she turns on the comments, it'll be listed right here where the whole class would be able to see these comments. So like if something like if a link wasn't working, I could put on there, hey, this, the link's not working. She could respond back, or if one of the other students, like here, I found a link that does work, and they put it in there before she gets a chance. So the class comments can work that way as well. Right here, it'll tell me if my assignment's been graded. It shows me what my grade is on the assignment. I can add or create, if I need to create a new doc or something to add to it. I can hit right here and I can add stuff that's already in my Google Drive. I can add a link or add a file from my computer. And this is where I was saying if the student's on a tablet or a phone, the camera option's also available. So they can actually click on the camera and upload straight from the camera and like take a picture of whatever they're working on, kind of thing. That's also an option here. This button right here changes based on what the student has going on. So like this one's already been graded. Before it's graded, it'll say turn in. Okay, I can resubmit and I can turn it into her again. Like, so maybe I got a bad grade and I'm like, oh no, I fixed it. I want to redo it. I can come on here and say, I fixed my mistakes. Can you please regrade? Okay. And I can resubmit it to her and turn it in, and she's going to get it again on her, and that it's there for her to check out again. And so I can hit the unsubmit button, and like if I messed up and say, no, I need to redo it, I can unsubmit it, And you can have it that way. You have access the entire time the student is working on it, and they have access as well once they hit unsubmit. I think that's it on the student view.
Okay.
Now we'll try to go back and not be so dramatic about it.
Alrighty. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Okay, thanks, Susan. Okay, so now you see that Amanda's comment, I fixed my mistakes. Can you please do this? She resubmitted it. So we still have that conversation going here. Again, I can open her assignment and see the corrections that she made. So this is the student, well, Amanda's was the student side, but this is what it looks like when I am grading it as a teacher. And then again, if I'm doing all my students, remember that I will see all of my students over here on the left-hand side in Word form, I guess you could say. And then in the biggest part of this screen, is where I would see thumbnails of what my students were doing, and I would just click on here. Clearly it changed from who it was assigned to who's now turned it in. So you can, those are even clickable. You can even do that. Here's a good thing to think about. If I'm viewing a student assignment, well, how in the world do I get back to my actual classroom? I don't want to hit the X up at the top and do everything again. Just come over here and click on your title, and your title will take you right back to the stream page, the stream homepage. All right, we are over by about 2 minutes. I know we're going to have another Google thing, a Google Classroom thing in just a little bit, but let me quickly go through the people again. Remember, people, the teachers, only add teachers. Don't add students, okay? There is a place for students. On the student side, I can invite guardians, and so this is where I would have to start typing my parents' email address, and then I would click their name and invite them. And so I've seen a lot of you guys have done that, so kudos to you for reaching out and get it going. So you see that her parents are invited to come and check out what's going on in our classroom. And then the 3 hot dogs, the stacked hot dogs over here, gives you some more options. So I could email Amanda, I could email her guardians, I could even remove those guardians. So that way you have that. The final tab is the grades tab. Now, so the grades tab is a really cool feature, because if I have, at this point, if we're just functioning inside of Google Classroom, then all of the assignments that I create, remember, assignments, not materials, assignments are all going to be up here at the top. And then I'll have all of my students and then all of their grades. So I could even come in here and I could put 100 out of 100 and, you know, save it for, or whatever. So I could do that. Because I did submit that 100 for her on the How Are You assignment, it automatically put it in here for me. So that's kind of a cool feature. Now here's the kicker. This is not synced to Texas Gradebook. Okay, just because you put grades in here on Google Classroom does not mean they automatically sync to Gradebook. So I think it'd be easier, even though you're doing it twice, I think it'd be easier to get everything for the week here and then set that office hour time on Friday where you're physically taking the grades from this week from your students and then entering it in TX Gradebook. So remember, it is not synced, it is not linked, or whatever other lingo you want to use, but they are not talking to one another right now. Could this change? Probably. I don't know. All right. Any questions? Email guardians only works from some, but not all of them. Why? Amanda's going to unmute herself and talk.
On that part, okay, yeah, you can hear it. On that part, so my son's in a bunch of, or was in Google Classroom before were going to remote learning. So I was already connected to his Google Classroom. So now other teachers that are adding him into their Google Classroom, I'm already connected. They're not going to have to invite me. But if this student does not have a parent connected to them at all, that blue button where she clicked a while ago that said invite parents, that's going to be right there. And she can, you or any other teacher that has that student in their Google Classroom can invite the parent, put their email in and send it. And once the parent signs on, they'll be connected to their student for any of the Google Classrooms that the students go into. I will also mention that the parent part of that, they can sign up to get a daily summary or a weekly summary. But in all honesty, it's not that great. They can't see like the private comments where you've asked them to, reduce an assignment or things like that. So we're also kind of saying parents sign in with your student, see what your student sees, see the private comments from the teachers, and look at the assignments with you. And that'll help you out a little bit on that end instead of just focusing on what the parents get as a summary that's not all that great.
Thank you. All right, friends. I hope you're not overwhelmed. I hope you're not hyperventilating. Please just breathe, right? Please just breathe. Remember, this is something new to everybody. There is a learning curve, and we are here to help you as best as we can from our social distancing activities. So remember, if we get a chance to speak, don't come any closer than 6 feet at this point in time. So I'm getting ready to stop the recording. We are going to upload this onto our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe and check out our YouTube channel. And thank you for making us YouTube famous and Facebook famous. But watch this whenever you need that reassurance. It's like we're sitting right next to you at home or wherever you are going to be learning from. So I'm going to stay on the line for about 2 more minutes. If you need to unmute yourself and say a piece that you need to say, then go for it. Just know that we're putting this on YouTube, so language. But other than that, y'all, thank you for joining us this afternoon. See you around.
Okay, are you done?
Let me give you like 1 more minute. I have my microphone muted, but I'm sorry I took so much time, Amanda.
That's fine.
But I liked that. I like that we could show them. Do you want to do that for yours? And then I'll be your student and we can show. Do you want to do that way?
Yep.
You can do whatever you think I missed and then.
No, I think it's pretty good.
Okay. All right. I guess nobody else wants. Thank you, Gabriel. We appreciate that. We're trying our hardest. We're trying our hardest. So, but we got you. Just know that we're here for you. Alrighty, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording and just email us if you need anything. All right. See you later.